Okay. All right, guys, welcome. We're going to finish up lesson 2 and learning and communication. And we have our CPS scanners. Everybody hold up your scanners. I think they're got it. Let's take attendance on the scanners and go ahead and go now. Make sure they all work.
Hey. Hey.
Attendance.
Sir. Mine's not.
Are you clicking on it?
Yeah, finally didn't, sir.
Barrios, you're not clicking?
Yes, sir.
Are you?
I'll get you.
Todd? Smith? Smith, point at the thing.
Spaceship's weird.
The spaceship is bigger.
The spaceship is weird. Ooh, so I did move my spaceship. Bad, Colonel Peebles. Okay, there we go, spaceship. All right. Yay, we have our spaceship now. We are ready to go. Okay, guys, communication. We're going to go through, briefly review what we did on last time. We talked about communication, listening, and thinking. Talking about our process and the cues, as well as what we can do to improve our communication. We actually went through the encoding, channeling, and decoding. This is something you just need to think about when we talk about active listening and what people are actually trying to say. We talked about the methods of delivery for communication. What are some methods of delivery, mediums of delivery for communication? Yes, sir.
Instagramming.
Instagramming, so we have electronic communications. What else?
Letters.
Verbals, letters, exactly. What else?
Morse code.
Morse code. Does anybody in the world use Morse code anymore?
I do sometimes, sir.
You can. What about this channel of communication here? And I told you that when I was your age, this was not international. But now, if you can go to Kyrgyzstan or Korea or Japan or Mexico or Peru, everybody will know what this means. It's a good thing. We talked about nonverbal communication. Okay, everybody. What is this guy saying?
He's not.
Looks like he has a migraine.
Everybody talk to your face partners here and see, what do you think this guy is saying?
He's angry. He's stressed.
All right, how about number one? Number one. Tell me what you think about this guy. What was he saying? Yes, sir.
He is angry.
Angry?
Or he's in pain.
How can you tell non-verbally?
Because of his mouth.
Facial expressions.
His mouth is open.
Could have been
I
moving.
think he is mad because his car might have just got towed, or
How do you know his car just got towed? That's pretty good. How do you know that?
it's just by how he looks. That
Where is he?
And it's
he's in a kitchen.
Cadet row. Awesome.
It looks like he's saying like, what are you doing?
Or he's like the other team just scored a touchdown and he's like really mad.
Is he celebrating?
His wife's pregnant, it's not his.
His wife's pregnant. That's probably not it. Do you see he has one phone in his left? Don't you? Doesn't he have another phone in his right?
No, he has like a headset. Like, he's talking to his
Yes, like a headset,
He
Bluetooth.
looks like a contractor.
Oh, here we have a business. It's not personal. It's not your truck. It's a business phone call. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, so my point is, when you guys start doing your public speaking, and actually we just had this today. One of my cadets was doing public speaking in my South flight. He stood up there. He was doing his whole talk. His hand was like this. What does this tell you?
His arm hurts.
Well, the answer is yes. He's probably nervous. When you're sitting there doing public speaking and you're talking like this, if I'm talking about, flying and stuff like that, and, what does that convey to you? Yes, ma'am.
Either that you're not interested or you're like worried about it.
I'm cold. It's probably not that I'm cold. It means that I'm closed up. I might not like the conversation. I may not want to talk to you. But what if I'm talking and I do like this and I do like this and it's exciting, and you know what? I write stuff up here and then I point at you and I look at each one of your eyes. What does that mean?
You're
very excited about that.
Very excited about this. This is teaching and communication. Look at my arms. Teaching and communication 101 that I'm going to tell you. If you look at your teachers during the day, and in 1 hour, which is what, 54 minutes or whatever, if they don't look in each one of your eyes, that's kind of, you're missing something. And really, teachers also kind of try to make you laugh or smile. And if they can make you laugh or smile, especially when you're teaching or you're talking, you win. So non-verbally, we need to think about this. Okay, with your, let's see, with your shoulder partners, what I want you to do is we're going to be perfectly quiet for 30 seconds, perfectly quiet, and I want you to think about the noise that you hear during the day. And think about what really bothers you the most. Starting right now. Three, two, one, now. How about number threes? Talk to me. Tell me what noise really bothers you during the day. Number threes. Yes?
Terrible laughter. Number 2.
Terrible laughter bothers you?
Yeah,
Yes, Johnson.
Squeaky voices.
Squeaky voices. How about talk at your table and tell me what is the worst thing that you hear during the day?
Sneezing.
Talk at your table.
Yeah. I don't like squeaky shit.
Everything that's sweet.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So you can see probably that the noises that bothers one person may not bother another. How many people here study with the TV on in the background? Guess what, guys? When I study, like to take tests, I put earplugs in. I can't handle one thing. Matter of fact, it was this morning, or one of these mornings, when I come in here and prepare, they have the wrestlers over here making noise, or in the afternoons, they'll have the PE classes in here. I'll put earplugs right here, and I can do more in 20 minutes than hours of listening to stuff. But when I'm typing in stuff, not concentrating, you hear me. I put all my Jimmy Buffett tunes through Pandora, and I can have others. So really, the noise in the background depends on what you're focusing. How many people actually think about do you have animals? Does anybody ever study with animals around? Doesn't bother you. Does it bother you?
Depends on what the animal's doing. They jump on my books and stuff. I have a dog that likes to try.
Okay. So let's go with the CPS questions. Ready to? Ready to click. Let's 3, 2, 1, go.
Can't see anything.
Polycomb.
Bad Colonel Peoples.
Go home. Did you die?
Which way should I go? This way?
It's like a neon color. It's hard to read.
you going to dance if we get it all right?
At this point, you guys are not getting it all right. I'm not doing any dance unless you all get them right.
Oh, yes, come on, A or B.
Answer C.
I thought so.
This is such an easy question.
Alright, so now we have to do some dancing, okay? Maybe you guys are pretty good. I mean, I had like this twice last year. You guys do it like once a day. Maybe we should do only dancing once every
Day.
day. Alright, one thing, who here knows how to do Ganjan style?
Gone.
Come on. I gotta have somebody can teach me how to do it, okay? Come on. Come on, we need it, come on.
I know how to do it. I actually do know how to do it.
Do you know how to do it?
Yes, sir.
Is that it?
Oh, dude, you got it. You better
Do the walk, sir.
Is it a tutorial?
No.
Can you hear it? Oh, it's an advertisement. All right. I need. Who can do it here? Who's the best?
Nobody wants to have fun in this class with me.
Is this it?
It's already started.
All right. You gotta do this, right? Hey, good job. Excellent. That was worth 25 good plays there on that.
And
That was
it's
good.
out of memory again.
And it's out of memory again.
It happens every time you dance.
Every time I dance here, put that in there.
Break it, sir.
Is this the one on the side?
The next one we get right.
But I did get it.
All right, go. Here's another one.
Hold on, hold on.
Okay. I'm going to go through all these dances by the end of the year.
You're gonna be dancing.
Walk is next.
Do the walk, sir.
Walk.
Hold on. I didn't
I'm confused.
No, just no.
So, what in the world would be feedback, people?
The receiver's response.
This is called being an adult, which is hard to do for even people who are 21 or over 18. If you come and do your public speaking, as you'll see here in actually a couple weeks, you'll be up here and your peers will grade you. And your peers will offer constructive criticism. So when I'm sitting up here dancing, you may say, well, Colonel Peoples, that was a great try. It looked that good, but you weren't wiggling your bottom enough, or you weren't dancing on the horse properly, okay? So you're going to give me constructive criticism, and then I'm going to be an adult, and I'll go, well, you know what, thank you very much for your input. I really appreciate it. I can certainly do better. If I'm up here talking, and I'm pointing to the thing like this, What might be some constructive criticism you'd have? Turn around. Well, no, that's not exactly what you say. You would say, thank you very much, Colonel Peebles, for talking about it. It was a very interesting talk about your career, but you know what? I couldn't really I couldn't hear you because you're talking away from me. What other kind of speaking criticism have you seen people do? Yes, ma'am.
That they need to speak up. Like, I know I need to do that.
Speak of?
Yeah, speak up.
Oh, speak up.
Some people are like,
Talk
"Oh
so
my God."
quiet.
And it's like you need to be loud so you can reach everybody.
I bet we can teach you to be loud. Okay? What other kind of public speaking? In public, yes, sir. What kind of criticism have you seen about people talking in public that they could do better? Yes, sir.
Word for those really
yeah. And then what about, did y'all ever see it wasn't that long ago, the presidential debates? Did you have any constructive criticism for those guys?
He can't look at the teleprompter.
You're saying the president looks at it all the time?
Yes.
And you can tell that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. So that might be one of his points, is that he needs to memorize his speech or not have the teleprompters pointed where he can see it. And a lot of that may just be with camera angles, believe it or not. Because sometimes he could do a whole speech and you think he's not even looking at a teleprompter when he might be. What else? Did y'all know some of those speeches they do, and they didn't do this when I was a kid. They're doing it for you guys and for TV. They have they're in the town hall situation. They're not in front of a podium. They're sitting on a seat or something like that. And they're in a town hall, and they're actually sitting on a bar stool type thing. Did y'all see those?
I think so.
They don't look comfortable.
Is this something
know,
similar to Judge Judy?
Yeah, well, I'm saying, you'll have the president of the United States sitting like this on a bar stool next to the, competitor, and they just don't look comfortable. And then they sort of jump off, and I mean, again, body language, they don't look comfortable in that situation, which makes them nervous and makes them either answer the questions right or not answer the questions right, depending on their maturity and how they've handled it, right? I mean, so they do these things on purpose. Feedback. Do you think anybody gives Mr. Romney and President Obama, do you think they give them constructive criticism after these speeches? Who does? Who gives them constructive criticism?
America.
Everybody. It's on the internet, right? You guys are on the Twitter going, boy, he really blew that question. Man, he should. Oh, hold it. What was it? A very famous presidential debate, because I like this stuff, was George Bush Sr. was running against, I'm pretty sure it was Bill Clinton, and he was the president. And he did a speech, or he did a response, and he pulled up his thing and he looked at his watch on national TV. What does that tell you?
He wants to get out of here.
He wants to get out of here. And guess what? He lost the debate and he lost the election, not because of that one thing, but it didn't help at all. Didn't help at all. He pulled, because in the old days, everybody wore watches. So anyway, my point is, in feedback, guys, it is definitely a maturing response that you can take constructive criticism. And I'll put you on here, I'll put you online, I'll be filming you, and you can see whether or not you have the maturity to take response, not from me, but from your peers. Look at the importance of feedback here is on page, what page? The important page, yeah, page 12 and 13. How about your parents or your families? Does anybody in your family ever go to you? You know what? You really shouldn't have yelled at me because that was kind of loud. I'd appreciate if you don't do that. Or my wife, when I was sitting here having an animated discussion with my brother, goes, you're being kind of loud. And that's, I'm fired up. I'm believing in whatever we're talking about, politics or whatever. And so anyway, you need to be able to accept constructive criticism. And this really is a huge step towards being a mature adult. And look at your families. I bet you a lot of I'm 25 years old. I'm an adult. Well, you know what? Sometimes you're kind of rude to your younger brother. What do you mean I'm not rude to my older brother? I'm not rude to the younger brother. You're 25 years old. You don't have the maturity to accept constructive criticism without talking back or without raising your voice. So anyway, this is kind of important. Improving communications. Knowing what to say, knowing your goals. We will talk about this when you do your public speaking. You'll plan what you say. You will try to involve your audience so they will understand your point that you're trying to get across. Penetrate barriers, specific language. Where is that? Down there on the bottom of page 13? What about, has anybody ever seen, well, I guess me, how about when you hear people talk with acronyms? You know, or you're maybe like I noticed even on the fire, when we had the fire emergencies and tragedies this summer, some of the firemen were on TV and they were using specific language that we did not know.
Fireman language.
It was fireman language. As a matter of fact, but one thing I was very impressed, the first day we were on national news, the term was trigger point. And the guy was talking, saying that actually Brandon McDonough, who was one of our cadets, lived through the horrible tragedy because he hit his trigger point. And he said it just like that. You know, we had one fireman that lived through it because he hit his trigger point. And then he said, but I'm going to define what trigger point is later on in my talk. And so he actually came back to the specific fireman term and tried to penetrate the boundaries of our lack of knowledge. But you'll hear that on TV. You'll hear the military people talking, using acronyms and different things that you do not understand. So when you're giving your talks, and you may love talking about dogs, and you may know all about dogs, but you talk about dog language, you need to be able to communicate it properly to other people so they understand what's going on. What is active listening?
You listen actively.
Actively. What is active listening? What is active listening?
Somebody asks you a question, you can give them a response.
You can give them a response. How do you actively listen? Cadet Perry.
You sit up straight.
You sit up straight.
You don't have to look uncomfortable. Keep eye contact and maybe nod your head if they say something.
Nod your head. You look them in the eye is kind of the main thing. Okay, if you look at somebody in the eye, you kind of have their attention and they have yours. And if you encourage them to talk, like you're understanding what's going on, you do use your hands, you kind of nod, you may, you know, in an interview, we'll get to this, I'll teach you about interviews. You'll take notes from the people who are talking to you. When I always tell my leaders when they come into my office and I got stuff going on and I'm telling them this and that and this and that, and they're going, Do they remember or can they write down anything? They walk out of there and then guess what? They don't do what I ask them, and I'm mad at them in a week because they didn't write the stuff down. Whenever you're going to your boss or your parents or you're scheduling or trying to figure out when you're going on spring break, take notes. I mean, nowadays you can take notes right here on your cell phone or a piece of paper, and then that really does help and show that you're actively listening and getting something out of the situation. All right, next question is ready, set, go.
Yes, sir.
Bad, Colonel Peoples. Thank you. This might be another Ganjan style.
Wops.
I said it wrong. It's not Ganjan.
Gang.
Gang. What is Ganjan?
Open Gangnam Style.
Coffee.
Ganga.
That's in a
Wait. Okay.
Wop.
Who did it?
Let's go. Active communication, team building.
Who did it?
Team building. It wasn't my fault.
we all get it.
I think everyone should. Shade 3.
You guys, you realize I have another clicker here. I'm just clicking it to make sure I don't have to do more dancing, okay? Just joking. Okay, so in review here for lesson 1, we talked about communication. We talked about encoding, receivers, you guys should know what feedback is. You will be receiving it and you'll be giving it. How about when you give feedback to your mother because she yelled at you, how do you say it? Mama, don't yell at me, it made me cry. Is that a good way of saying it?
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
First, you want to say, like, thanks for giving me, like, a pep talk, but I don't appreciate you yelling at me. Like, you want to say something nice first, then, like, get to the point.
You want to connect with the person so they'll be receiving your input. Yes, sir.
Take it like a man and let her talk to you.
And you just go ahead and just cry right in front of her and make it work
I'll go
out.
to my room first, then I'll cry. Then she'll call me out for dinner and it'll be okay.
Is it good to give feedback immediately when you have a volatile situation?
Sometimes.
No.
You know, they talk about parents and sports. And if the kid messes up in sports, do you go, you shouldn't have struck out, that was horrible of you to miss that foul shot? Do you do that right after the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think they don't know that?
No.
Why would you ever criticize anybody for that? So in general, in a volatile situation with your parent or your coach or your boss, you don't do it right then, because then you're yelling back. Think about your nonverbal communication. You want to take your time and give them feedback so that they know that you mean it. Noise, anything that interferes with communication. External or internal noise? Internal.
Both.
Alrighty, that's the end of lesson 1. Lesson 2 tomorrow. Room 10 Hut.